Well, such a really two seats on the left.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the flight Cuboree 2021. I'd like to direct your eyes now to the screen so we can run through the frequently asked questions before the captain takes off today on our world tour.
I'm Olivia. I'm from Nambour District Scout, or Cub Scouts. And this Cuboree, I started out as the Support Services Director, and the last few months I've been the Acting Chief Director and have just become Chief Director of Cuboree.
I'm Sharon Barrett and I'm from the Gold Coast region. I started off doing the camping director, and then I went to the acting deputy chief director, and now I'm the deputy chief director.
Is Cuboree still on?
Well, that's the plan. We're planning for the 19th of September, which is the first week of the school holiday. So we're, rapidly organising everything, ready to go. We just need you guys to put in a few more applications and sign your paperwork and return it, please.
Will we get emailed with a list of what to pack?
There will be a packing list. It will be popped up onto the website, so we're using, and I'm sure Rachel will put it in somewhere so you can find it, but we have a Cuboree website. That information will be on there, but we won't release that just yet. We'll leave that until a little closer to the date. If you pack now, you may grow out of your clothes.
If I don't put my application in by the 7th of May, can I still apply?
Okay, so that one's a little bit of a tricky one. The application system will close at midnight on the 7th. So applications that are already in the system can be accessed and continued, but no new applications will go in. However, if you are really desperate and you really want to come, you can contact us on info@Cuboree, and we can have a look at the situation and determine whether we can open the system and let you in. However, if you don't get in by the 7th, you're not going to get a merchandise pack because we'll be placing those orders really soon.
When will leaders get told their positions?
After the closing date of May 7th, we'll be going through all of the applications, and usually we do the packs first and make sure we have enough leaders for the line leaders, and then we'll be going through the rest and allocating. So by about June, you should know.
What kind of activities will the kids participate in?
We've got 4 days of frantic activities. We have one off-site day, and we can't reveal that activity yet. We'll have 3 other days that you'll remain on site within the secure site. There'll be lots of dirty stuff because cubs love to be dirty. There'll be lots of adventurous sort of, pushing ourselves to try new things. I believe that we will be going on a safari. I believe that we will be, going to the Olympics?
Oh yes,
and apparently there's a Kontiki tour that we'll be taking as well.
How many cubs will be in a tent?
Well, this week it would be 5 children. However, we'll actually have to leave that and see how COVID evolves over time, and we'll be following the guidelines at that, in September, because as we've discovered, what happens today is not always the same in next week.
Can cubs that aren't quite 9 but very suitable to night's camping be allowed, or is it strictly 9?
No, if you have a Cub Scout that's close to being 9 and they're mature and you think that they will cope with the camping and the activities, you're more than welcome to email us at the info Cuboree email, and we will have a look at it for you and then let you know if we think that child would be suitable.
Are we still having an off-site visit, and if so, where?
Yes, we're having an off-site visit. At this stage, I'm not at liberty to say. The ladies that are organising that are still, planning and trying to keep it a secret.
When does the last payment need to be paid?
The last payment needs to be paid by the 31st of May. Unless you're on a payment arrangement, you would have been emailed when you need to pay that by.
What sort of dinner meals are usually served?
They're usually fairly standard meals. we usually, they may have pie, they may have corned beef and vegetables, they might have spaghetti. It really depends on what the catering team decides to come up with, and we're lucky enough to have a professional catering group coming along to cater for us, so they'll all be chef prepared meals that Cub Scouts will like.
How many Cubs usually attend?
I think last year the total number of people was 952.
With no bus transport, will parking be available for leaders, and will there be coordinated drop-off zones?
Yes, there will be available parking for leaders, and the drop-off zones we at the moment will be working out probably per sub-camp, and they'll be given a time that sub-camp can arrive. Once again, we will do that once we have all the applications and can work out what we can feasibly take at each time.
However, just because we're not running buses doesn't mean that you guys can't be creative about how you're getting to Cuboree. There are some districts and regions that are actually looking at bringing their own buses down. We've got some groups that have already indicated that they would like a pickup from the train station because they're going to catch the train to Landsborough and we'll pick them up.
Do you try keep the kids in the same group together? I have a couple with anxiety.
Yes, we do. So if they're from the same group, they will be kept in the same patrol. Yes.
What if Cuboree is too expensive for me, but my cub really wants to go?
So I guess the big thing with that one is fundraising is really a great tool for families. It also teaches the Cub Scouts the value of how many sausages it takes to go to an event like that. So it gives them a bit of ownership on it. However, the other thing is we can be putting in place those payment plans. If you need a bit of extra time or you haven't got quite enough funds just at the moment, we can discuss payment plans.
What region is the cutoff?
So we are running very limited transport. We're actually running buses from a bus or two from Far North Queensland. They're actually, I think at this stage, our largest contingent of Cubs coming, which is fantastic. We're also doing some train pickups at Rockhampton. We have been looking, if we get a really big spike in numbers and we find that there's a ton of people in a particular area that are interested, that are committed to coming to Cuboree, then we'll look at trying to put additional transport in. But at this stage, we've only catered for that Far North and Rockhampton.
How do the older Scubs/Scouts differ from the Cuboree aged kids?
So the Scubs will be put into their own patrol. However, they'll be in the Cubs sub-camp and they'll be attending the meals, the activities, everything else they'll be attending just like the Cub Scouts will. The only difference is they'll be in their own patrol.
As a leader, do we have to stay with my Cubs or will we be integrated with other groups?
If you're the only leader that is going with your Cubs, we allocate you with your Cubs. If you've got 2 or 3 leaders going, then we may put you with other Cubs that don't have leaders or in activities.
Why is it so expensive to go to the Sunshine Coast instead of Maryborough?
We're supplying a 6-day, 5-night camp that includes meals, snacks prepared by a professional catering team, merchandise pack, jam-packed days of activities, a secure campsite, camping gear, and the infrastructure to run the whole camp.
Are leaders required to bring their own personal tents?
No, we'll be supplying the tents unless there's a particular reason that you need your own tent. Pretty much we'll be supplying tents, but there will be sharing of tents. But yeah, that's something that we can always negotiate later.
How many Cubs per pack?
25 usually, 24 to 25.
If we have clingy parents that would normally want to hang around and help, but that's fairly negative to the child's experience, will you tell them to stay away?
Parents won't be allowed to stay unless they're actually registered as an applicant. It'll pretty much be drop-off will be drop the bags, kiss the child, leave the site, next person in. So it'll be like one of those 2-minute drop-offs at school. We'll be trying to get people through as quickly as we can so there is an opportunity for parents to be staying. And if we have parent helpers that are involved, their role is more likely to be at our logistics areas, our catering areas, not necessarily directly with the youth.
Will the campsite be big enough to cater for Cuboree?
I have been assured that it is big enough to cater for up to 1,000 people.
I have a child that has dietary requirements that is under investigation. When is the latest I can advise on his food requests?
The welfare manager will probably be contacting you around July or August. However, if the dietary requirements change even a couple of weeks before Cuboree, you're more than welcome to let us know, and the chef will arrange that for you.
If my son makes a new friend, is there a way for him to stay in touch with them?
Of course, we can put out to leaders that if that's the case, maybe they can take contact details for the other cub, and also give your cub the details of the other child for them to contact later.
Who chooses tent allocations for the cubs?
We have a team, so there's about 3 or 4 of us that will sit down and have a look at all the applications, where they're from and things like that, and we go from there.
Can we purchase Cuboree merchandise? If so, when?
We are looking into that at the moment. We will look at what numbers we have after the May 7, and we will let you know shortly after that.
Do we need venturers and scout helpers still?
Absolutely.
What is the minimum age for a scout helper?
13.
Do we need rovers?
Absolutely, yes, they're always welcome.
Our group is sending 4 leaders and 12 cubs. We are, however, aware of the other scout groups in our district who are sending just a few cubs without leaders. Can we request we all camp together as one group at Cuboree?
Yes, you can. If you want to also email that info at Cuboree and put that in writing to us, and we will look at that for you.
What if only one Cub Scout wants to go from a pack, an orphan Cub Scout as we like to call them?
Alright, so if we have orphan Cub Scouts, we do try and buddy them up with people, with a group that they are geographically located nearby, so that they can get to know each other before the events, and that way they all feel very comfortable. Usually by the time they finish at Cuboree though, they've decided that they want to bring their whole new Cuboree pack with them back to their home, and they'll keep those leaders too. So,
how are activities working for this Cuboree?
So we have the 4 activity bases. We have the 1 off-site, then we have the 3 on-site. So each day, each sub-camp will have a rotation of a new base every day.
and then in addition to the daily activities, we've got entertainment activities or nighttime activities as well. So that's always something, especially if the Cub Scouts can keep their eyes open.
Will pickups require ID to ensure child safety?
We haven't finalised the pickup procedures at this stage. Once we've done that, we'll actually release a travel advice. We'll actually send out the requirements for who we may need to have designated pickup and drop off people, and we'll put that information out for you once we are ready.
Are the travel arrangements at an additional cost?
If we're providing them, so that bus from Cairns and a couple of trains, they're included in the cost. However, if they're a regional or district or group arranged transports, there will be, I imagine, an additional cost, but that would be something organised separately from Cuboree.
Will medications need to be sent in a Webster pack?
We do prefer a Webster pack. It does make it easier for the welfare person in each sub-camp. However, it's not compulsory. As long as each medication has got the pharmacist exactly how it's to be dispensed, that will be covered.
What if my child gets sick before camp? Do I get a refund?
Unfortunately, you don't get a refund. Hopefully it's just a cold and a simple, COVID test and a negative clearance should be enough to allow you still to come to Cuboree.
My son is the only child from his pack going. Can he join another pack he used to attend as he has friends in it?
Oh yes, certainly. If you'd like to once again email that Cuboree info email and let us know what pack that he's comfortable going with, we will arrange that for you.
Back to the pack size, how many cubs is a leader looking after?
There's usually in that pack or patrol with 24 to 25, there's 4 leaders.
What if there is a lockdown?
Alright, so if there's a lockdown, we'll basically be following the directions of the state and federal government as well as the Queensland Scout policies.
Well, such a really two seats on the left.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention with our frequently asked questions. Sit back now, relax, and enjoy your flight on Cuboree 2021.